Should be live, if I hit so. Hey everyone, I'm Kitcot, and this is the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword 80% speedrun. This has changed a lot since my ESA Together run. Back then the estimate was, I believe, 2 hours 30 minutes. Now it is an hour and 45 minutes due to some recent developments in the game that have come across.
Oh yeah.
And also I have commentators with me, Flo258 and Pikastoff.
Hi. So yeah, we're just trying. We're trying to get this somewhat all. We're trying to get this all somewhat.
Yeah.
That we'll actually get everything correct.
Yeah. There's this.
Oh, this shit has been crazy.
Absolutely, yeah. A new route has been basically created like pretty much last Monday, where we skip all the B items. I will be attempting that. I'm pretty nervous about that, to be honest, because it's pretty difficult, but we'll see. It appears that Pikastoff's having some issues, but he should be back at some point. Anyway, so
Okay.
What was the file that won the incentive?
Okay, sorry. Just
check
confirm,
that
do you
now.
hear me? I think this time I should be here. I
Yeah.
really apologize. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Okay, just checking on the tracker now. It looks like Pepper won the bid war with $15.01.
Nice. Pepper, aka Peppernicus 2000, who is the behind this craziness that you're gonna be
Is that how you spell it?
seeing.
I don't know how to spell pepper. How do you spell pepper? Is it like
P-E-P-P-E-R,
Okay, cool, I got it right, yeah. Let's hope for that.
Yeah.
like the doctor.
So yeah, without further ado, I guess we should kick this run off. There are... Also, do bear with us in the commentary. This, again, this route is very confusing and it was only created last Monday. I will still be using my notes, so it'll be quite... Anyway, countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And we're off.
Good luck.
Yeah. So the first thing you'll notice is that we're skipping cutscenes. That's because this is in hero mode. This run will be done in hero mode because it's just faster. We skip cutscenes, double the damage, and our Skyward Strike is much faster. You might be wondering why double damage is useful. You die a lot in this game, like a lot, like 20 times a lot. So, yeah. So yeah. So. Nice. Okay. I think because I have trouble with his
have no
voice
idea
channel.
what Pika is trying to say.
I think I was like trouble with his like voice channel or whatever. Anyway, so next thing you notice is that this game is done on nice camera angle. This game is done on Japanese, which is the fastest scrolling language. So yeah, this is first of all this is going to slightly different from most routes you'll see. This is bad. Oh wow, I got the text box nice. So most routes you'll just see me go to the oh wow, this is a great start. You'll like see me go to Zelda, but here we're actually going to save the remlet because we need this file to have certain flags later on. There we go, nice, got it.
Okay, so basically what we're trying to do now, we need to do a whole setup for something that is I think I'm gonna leave it at that if I simply say up to too much detail. Yeah.
Yeah. So
What we
here's
need to do here now is just saving the remlet.
Yeah, it's Zelda's cat, if you can call it a cat. Yeah. So yeah. The reason why we need to do this is because we need to set up our files with story flags so that future glitches are possible, basically. So yeah, now we can go back to business. So I'm going to save here because we are going to enter our first glitch, which is Back in Time. Back in Time is the most useful glitch in this game, and it's the reason why it's an hour and a half and not 6 hours. Yeah, and so I'm going to kill myself with this post here. Nicknamed the killing post because you only die with it. And again, this is one of the benefits of hero mode is that you take 2 hearts of damage instead of 1. So yeah.
Oh yeah, the killing post is
Yeah. It's pretty infamous for being quite hard to do quickly. But I'm a speedy boy, so this is fine for me.
yeah, it is.
Alright, and now we're dead. GG, we died in the first 3 minutes of the game. Okay, so in order to activate this glitch, you continue and reset the console. I'm going to do it with the physical button because it's quicker than the home menu, but you can do whatever you want. Okay, so now Back in Time has many different iterations. There's bit save, bit warp, bit magic, reverse bit warping, reverse bit magic. It's got a lot of stuff to it. This is just going to be one simple bit save. This is the simplest one. And this glitch is pretty hard to understand. It's like basically, this is kind of the main reason why Skyward Sword is pretty hard to follow. It's like you either have to know what you're doing or have a degree in computer science.
Yeah.
Yes. Because we're going to be manipulating like a lot of values in the game and story flags and stuff. So we jumped over this fence just because we can, and the statues are fully functional on Back in Time for some reason. Bit save, we just select file 1 and we save that, and then we start the file like I did, and that saves file 1 on Back in Time Skyloft. Now Back in Time Skyloft has a few properties that we're going to take advantage of. Most noticeably, most actors are missing, including the door to the goddess statue, which is now open. So we can go ahead and get the goddess sword.
Yeah, you've story flags, and we're gonna manipulate a lot of the story flag. So much that community story flag, which is yeah, a very fitting name, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay, so now we've got the goddess sword. This basically skips getting the practice sword, and it's quicker. And so there's not much else to do here except we're going to raise this pedestal because it's going to be useful later. So yeah. So the rest of this Skyloft up until a certain point is going to be mostly the casual way, except with the goddess on the back. So I think now's going to be pretty much a perfect time to explain movement, how it works. If anyone's familiar with other Zelda games, you'll notice, well, 2 things. 1, you start with 6 hearts, that's for reasons that I'm not going to get into right now. And 2, we have a stamina meter. Now, the stamina meter is it's in Breath of the Wild as well, but this was first introduced in Skyward Sword. And so instead of rolling everywhere, we still try to roll because it's the fastest movement, but in place of that, we can sprint. So how it works is you want to sprint as much as possible, but you want to roll probably more, because rolling... For every roll you do, it saves 1 frame over sprinting, roughly. Sometimes it saves 2, sometimes it saves... It's weird. But rolling uses more stamina, so it's kind of a balancing act of rolling, sprinting, and walking. Basically.
Is that you mentioned that you start the game with 6 hearts. That we're actually in hero mode again, and double damage. It's basically as much as 3 hearts.
It is basically 3 hearts, yeah. But it is kind of a weird quirk of Skyward Sword that you start with 6 opposed to 3. I don't really know why they did it. So here's a random act of just randomness. We're going to enter this house and wait for it. We're going to do something really important in this house. Like, wait for it. And we're going to leave again. Super important. Like, just super important. Okay, all jokes aside, that is
super
actually
important
useful.
And at the same time.
Yeah. Anyway, so basically,
Yeah, you may ask. So random stuff.
Yeah, it's just this game will kind of be.
It just is like that. We needed to set up something very.
Yeah. So the story of this game is.
Flags to do so.
Yeah, just we're gonna be setting a bunch of flags like saving the remnant and stuff like that. So the story of this game is that it's the day of your exam, and these dicks known as your classmates hide your offering and have to go rescue it. And we're gonna do that right now because in order to leave Skyloft, we need to rescue our offering. So yeah, also I took damage in the cave, that's intentional, because we're gonna have to die quite soon. Alright, so now we're out of the caves, and now Zelda will appear. And it says, Pepper in 2 exclamation marks. Right, so now, talking in Japanese, I don't really remember much of the text boxes, because I've been running this game in Japanese for years. But after this, we're going to save at the statue nearby, and we're going to copy file 1 to file 3. So in Skyward Sword speedrunning, especially in at least modern Skyward Sword speedrunning, you essentially need an early game file that you can keep. And it's either in file 2 or usually in file 2, but in this route it's going to be file 3. So copy file 3. And you notice that the file 2 is also hero mode. That's because it's going to be file dupes in the like reverse bitwarp into Sky. You're probably wondering what a reverse bitwarp is. We'll explain that later, if we can. But for now, we're just going to go ahead and save our offering, basically. Alright, so these ropes are pretty challenging.
Yeah.
But it's not too bad.
A lot of runs have died towards.
Yeah, it's like just randomly run out of stamina. It's yeah. So now coming up is the tutorial, which you'll probably see a lot in this run. Like, kind of just a little bit. A little bit, you'll see a lot. So this is essentially an auto-scroller now. But yeah, one thing that I'm going to mention is the wing so many cutscene skip. This has been incredibly infamous in many Skyward Sword runs. It's where most of my runs die, at least. It's a 2-frame window cutscene skip with no audio or visual cue. And yeah, some people time it. I can't time it, so I just have to mash it and hope for the best. If I miss it, I lose 90 seconds. So yeah, fun times.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The good thing is that it's still early in the run, so usually it's just a
Yeah. So I'm going to save here and I'm going to try and do this
already
anytime.
is yeah, not so good.
Nice, got it. Nice Pog, I got the cutscene skip, which is very good. It saves 90 seconds. Okay, so now we're going to do back in time. This is the back in time that I'm scared about. Because this is the reverse build into the sky. Now, if I fail this, this is bad. Because I kind of lose my blank hero mode file. But it's not hard to fail it, he says. Anyway, so... Okay, I'm kind of shaking right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to select file 2, then we're going to go back to the file select menu. This is like the file loop, and then we're going to bit save like this. It's kind of hard to explain, but just like that. I'm going to bit save file 1 because file 1 needs to be here, and I need to make sure that I get this reverse bit warp. Otherwise, I need to start the run over basically, which will lose about 11 minutes. So I need to focus. I think that worked. I think so. I'm crossing my fingers that worked. Okay, it worked. Thank God. Okay.
Okay, nice.
Okay, nice. Yeah. So this is good. Okay. So again, this is kind of hard to explain. A lot of this is because most of this first part is going to be a bunch of just nonsense. But we need this fire trigger so that we can access the sky in a different layer later. But for now, we're just going to have to die, so we're going to use this bird here to take damage, hopefully, if I can run into it, like that, yeah. And normally you'd want to die on a zipper, but that's pretty risky. If I fail that, then the run is literally over. So I'm going to use these Octrols here, which are a little bit safer.
So basically, what we just did, if I'm not wrong,
Oh, nice, missed it.
we now have a early game file that allows us to call our loft wing
Yeah.
And allows us to dive.
Yeah, pretty much.
But
Yeah.
this file is still not, and that is the important fact because yeah.
So now I'm gonna manually save and manually reset, and then go start file 1, and then I'm gonna do more back in time because this start is essentially just back in time over and over again. It's really confusing. It's weird. Okay, so first of all we need to reload with the bazaar because currently file 1 is saved on the back in time Skyloft, which you can't actually do back in time off of, which is dumb. But yeah, so we need like to die on the actual map of Skyloft, which is this one. So I'm gonna do this west cliff right here, and dead. Okay, so now we are gonna do what's known as early Farron Pit. I don't know why it's called early because it's not really early, but I don't really know. Anyway, so back in time the same way, continue and reset the console. And we're going to place the Farron pillar on file 3. So first things first, we're going to save, copy file 2 to file 3. So everything's basically going to be file 2, just so you know. Right, so then we're going to bonk into this tree with file 3, which seems a bit random, but this opens the gates to the academy. And we specifically do it with file 3 because back in time naturally reads stuff from file 3. And so, for example, if I open a file select menu, it's going to keep these gates open. And if I were to do that on something like file 2, it would shut them because it doesn't naturally read stuff in file 2.
Anti-Farron pillar.
Okay, so...
That is an interesting name.
Yeah. So you might notice that I started my file just before I entered. That saves a few frames, so it's kind of... you would go for it, but if you're too early, you accidentally do a reverse bit warp, which is bad. Also, I'm going to copy file 2 to file 1 here. I think I did it that way. I hope I did it that way.
Okay, so basically, the question, what is our... Right now. What we want to do is, we want to enter the fast as possible. And the fastest way to do that is basically by skipping the entire first overworld section.
Yeah.
And how are we gonna do that? We're gonna do that by reverse bit warping into by doing a Farron bit, and then we're gonna reverse bit warp you.
Yeah. So basically, so we have to disable offering twice because we just have to. It's dumb. It's a really dumb reason why. So now I'm going to. Now we have the Farron pillar in file 3. I'm going to go ahead and make my way over to it. 9, 10. Then so I'm going to do 12 flaps. Or yeah, 12. I did 13. Don't know if that will affect anything. Hopefully it won't. I'll do one more. I don't know what I'm thinking about. Then I'm going to dive onto this because I need to be at 2 hearts. Hopefully I can make it there. I should be able to make it there. Because you don't really want to be on 6 hearts for this next part because it takes longer to die. Basically. So now I need to try and make it to... this is really awkward motion controls. Also, yeah, this game is done on motion controls. Which they're pretty solid, but sometimes they can be a bit of a pain. Like now. Anyway. And that is Farron. So, good news is we're only about like 47 seconds behind the world record. Which is good. But, yeah, so... now what the game would usually want you to do is go through Farron normally, but we're going to skip that with a massive reverse bit warp. Haven't really explained what bit warping. So bit warping is where you save corners from Skyloft from back in time and apply them to the file. Reverse bit warp is where you how do I explain this? It's the opposite of bit warp. There you go. So now we're in sealed grounds layer 0. So we're going to save here, and then we're going to die. And we can die by jumping into the spiral because the fence is not here. There's meant to be a fence here, but it's not here. So dead. I wonder if Pikastrof has fixed his audio. I'm not quite sure if he has, but we're gonna hopefully see him later. Okay, so.
So we got a quick second just to read some subscriptions, or.
Oh yeah, absolutely, that's fine.
Yeah, so I say big thank you to Pyro Grunt for their subscription with Twitch Prime. And while there's no donation centers for this run anymore, we do have for the Resident Evil runs the costume choices. They're still wide open, so if you want to get donations in for them, that'd be great. Thank you, Karen Whitburn.
Yeah, so this is going to be somewhat confusing. This is bad, right? A big part of Skyward Sword is like managing your file setup, which is pretty hard. Like managing file management and movement during back in time, which is quite difficult, but it's not too hard if you know what you're doing. So yeah, so basically, you saw me delete file 2. That's because we need file 2 for the next glitch, basically, or for the reverse bit warp, at least at the end of it. So yeah, so basically what's going to happen is that we're going to enter the sky. The reason why we are able to enter the sky is because we bit save file 3, which made our loft ring be in back in time. We also did a few other things, like examine the statue with file 1. That is useful. I don't know why it's useful. It just is. Like this route is pretty new, so I don't really know much stuff. But anyway. Just note that that is very useful. I think it's to like avoid a certain bit in memory. Actually, this might crash. So I think I was quite bad with my files. Okay, no, we're good. That was scary. Anyway, so now we're in Farron back in time. Sorry if we're not explaining this very well. This is quite difficult to explain this game in general. And the sole reason why we're here is because we entered the sky with file 3, which had the Farron pillar, and we dived to the Farron pillar, which means now we're here. So, yeah, so in Farron back in time, you do have to be quite careful with your files. Because like, if you enter the wrong place with the wrong file, things can go wrong pretty quickly. And in a
there is basically so at the end, which what there are gonna be reverse bit warping into the first dungeon, which is Skype Temple.
Yeah. So dungeon in this game, essentially, we're gonna not actually on file 1. We're gonna beat no dungeons. We're gonna beat all the dungeons on file 2. And the dungeons we're going to beat are coincidentally, in my opinion, the worst dungeon in the game, Skyview and Earth Temple.
Yeah.
The reasons why we need to beat those, we need to beat Skyview so we can access the Elden region, and we need to beat Earth Temple to access the... Oh, that's done wrong, in a wrong way. Okay, use Earth Temple to access the Neighbor region. Right, so I'm going to bit save both file 1 and 2 here, which is very useful.
So, you've heard the weird commentator guy with the robotic voice saying about a reverse bit warp. Reverse bit warp, we haven't even seen a real bit warp yet.
Yeah, the name is
I
quite
am
confusing.
happy to answer that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
basically, we are applying saving at in bit, and if we are saving in back in time at the same time, this results in nades we saved in back in time to the map where our game file that we are just loading in is.
Okay. Alright, so anyway, don't know if you're still talking Flora, but issues arise. Anyway, so now we're going to enter Deep Woods of file 3, and we're going to be very picky with our files here, because if, again, we take a wrong step, we have to do this entire reverse bit up again. That would be bad. Select file 2 as this ended. Also, we bit save file 2, which means it's now corrupted, which is good, that's what we want. Now, at the end of this cutscene, select file 3. I'm going to copy file 3 to file 2 because we need something in file 2 that isn't just corrupt or blank. and we're going to reverse bitwarp into Skype. And how we're going to do is we're going to start file 2 as soon as the fade out starts, like so. And because the file 2, which once was file 3, was positioned in the Upper Academy statue, we're going to be warped quite far in front of Skyview, because that's where the Upper Academy statue corners were. So most of this dungeon is essentially we skip most of the dungeon, and also not in the hero's tunic. We will see the hero's tunic, but not right now. Anyway, so
Not right now.
So
Not right now, indeed.
yeah, not right now at all. Yeah. Also, welcome back, Kitcot.
Wait, is my voice actually working this time? Am I not a robot?
I can
Yes, it's
hear
fine.
you.
Good. This is good.
Okay.
Anyway, so the reason why I went into this room and killed this guy, that was to reload everything, like, because there's like no rope, there's no nothing. You can't advance without reloading everything. Like this goblin wasn't there, this spider wasn't there. Let me just try and get past this guy. Yeah. You're meant to like cut down the beetle, but we don't have the beetle, and we're not going to get the beetle. So with a precise Skyward strike, you can, or Skyward strike and a precise jump, I mean, you can kind of get past him. Also, dying here is really bad. Like, I'll have to do the entire bit, like, reverse bit all over again if I die here, which is something I don't want to do.
So, as Labellock is saying in chat right now, since we skipped the slingshot, basically, we did not unlock the B item wheel.
Yeah.
Meaning that we were to collect, without collecting the slingshot, gonna crash the game.
Yeah.
Because this game likes to crash.
This game does like to crash. Like, even just activating back in time and selecting the plus will crash the game, and that's how you beat the game in crash percent. Anyway, so that's the reason why I use the Skyward strike instead of the slingshot, because I don't have the slingshot. So, unlucky for us, this is vines, and vines are very likely to void out. The good news is, voiding out doesn't actually do any damage in this game. So we can void out as many times as we want, and we'll be fine.
I think Skyward Sword and I think Majora's Mask, if I'm not sure, I think are like the only 3D Zelda games where you don't get damage when you void out.
Yeah.
Interestingly.
Yeah. I don't know why the game developers decided that, but I'm not complaining because vines are hard and I just failed them. Anyway, the reason why these are hard is because you're not meant to go. You're meant to like go down another way, but this way's faster. So I'm gonna safety save here because we have Girahim. Girahim isn't necessarily a hard boss, but if you make one mistake, you die. But it's pretty easy not to make mistakes. But again, just in case, and knowing marathon luck. Come on, there you go. So boss keys, they work like this. They're pretty simple at first, and then they get more complex. We won't see any complex boss keys in this run, sadly, because we only visit the first 2 dungeons. So anyway, here's Girahim. Girahim is like the only sort of RNG in the run now. He can either do in this. Okay, first phase he's completely easy every time. In the second phase, he can do one of 3 things, and one of those 3 things is dart, and the key to... Oh, nice. And the key to Girahim is to minimize the amount of darts, and you can't really do that, so you just have to hope that you get, like, no darts or something. Right, there we go. So then he gets a sword in phase 2, and this is, you know, where he can either throw darts at you, he can dash at you. Oh, nice, got the phase. There's this jump slice, which no one knows why you get it, but sometimes you just get it, sometimes. He can dash at you, he can hold his sword up, or he can throw darts. And dashing and his sword being up, both will do damage to him. Darts will not do any damage to him, so you don't want darts. Normally you'd get about 3 darts, I think now we've had about 2. Oh nice, like 1 heart, this is great. Yeah, on average you get about 3 darts.
We actually used to skip this fight.
Yeah, that's because we grabbed the practice sword, which we don't anymore, and so we can't skip this fight, which is fine.
Basically you need to practice sword to skip this fight. Once again, the correlation seems random, and it kind of is, but...
This game is really weird with scene flags, so just go with it. As I said, you kind of need a computer science degree to understand what's happening in this game. So here I'm going to apparently not collect the heart container. By the way, I've got notes here because this route is very new and I haven't memorized it entirely, even though I've done it like 4 times already. So yeah, no hard container, and well, that was Skyview. Done. So that's one of the 2 dungeons you'll see in the run. Sadly, we won't really be able to show off any of the good dungeons like Ancient Cistern or Sand Chip, so we're just stuck with boring old Skyview and Earth Temple. Earth Temple is a dungeon no one likes. No one likes Earth Temple. If you like Earth Temple, no you don't.
No.
I just want to say that.
No. Earth Temple is bad.
Yeah, so I just had to like rant a little bit. Anyway, so that was, again, there isn't much to say here except that was Skyview. And hope you're ready for more reverse bit warping magic or whatever. I hope you're ready for that. It's just more back in time.
Oh yeah, because what we're gonna see is gonna be very interesting in terms of how to actually access Elden in this particular route.
Yeah, because it's definitely different from other routes. So sometimes you'll notice that I'll save and just manually reset. That's faster because it just is it's hard to explain. Anyway, so file 3. I'm going to start file 3 and I'm going to reload with the Bazaar. This is for 2 reasons. 1, because you can't activate back in time on back in time Skyloft. And 2, because we need, like reloading will reset the scene flags, or will reset the scene flag array to be on Skyloft instead of Sealed Temple. Sealed Grounds, I mean. So yeah, now we've entered and exited the Bazaar. Now we're going to save again, and we're going to do Killing Post for the 2nd out of 3 times. Can't remember. Yeah. Yeah, killing post is quite difficult for most new runners, but is not much of a problem.
It's kind of an awkward movement because in order for Link to actually take damage, you can actually have to sprint off the post. Like if you just jump, Link will oddly enough just not take any damage.
Yeah.
So that's why it's kind of weird, and it's also easy to accidentally slip up and fall in the void, which is kind of an awkward time loss because then you have the little cutscene where you get the guard like talking to you. But fun fact, that cutscene is actually what makes back in time even possible, because every time you start back in time, you can see indeed that little cutscene where the camera is kind of glitched like inside Skyloft, and that is actually the game trying to play that cutscene of the guard trying to tell Link, "Oh hell yeah, please don't fall down." And it's basically, if it wasn't for that, we'd basically be kind of soft locked inside. So even though it's annoying when it happens in game, we can be really thankful it's actually a thing within back in time.
Yeah. I'm having a look at the UKSG run as well. I do also apologise for any like buffering that the gameplay might have. It's British internet. It's yeah. Anyway, so we did a reverse bit warp into the goddess statue, which we started file 2 and then we entered into the goddess statue. And so now we're going to place the Elden Pillar. And the cutscene's going to be really weird because this is the first tablet that this file has selected, so it's going to act like you just place the Farron Pillar in a very weird way. So now we're going to save and manually reset because the game doesn't know where to put you, so it puts you at the title screen. Normally if you save and quit, it'll put you back at the file, which is normally faster, but in this case it doesn't. It just, even if you save and quit, it'll put you at the splash screen. And then we are going to file 3, I'm looking here because of the notes, file 3, and we're going to do Killing Post for the 3rd time. And final time, so everyone say goodbye to Killing Post. It's been a good friend.
Bye, Killing Post.
Oh, I missed Killing Post. I messed it up. I messed it up. Yep. Nice. Yeah. It's precise. What can I say? It's Killing Post. No one really likes it, but yeah. There we go. There we go. Okay, so now it's going to be a Elden reverse. A lot of these are reverse bit warps and not actual bit warps. Naming stuff is weird. Just put it that way. The reason why it's called reverse bit warp and not just bit warp is because the bit warp was found in 2012. Reverse bit warp was found in 2019, I think. And now ironic, not really, but like now reverse bit warp is used more than bit warp, so it doesn't really make much sense. But anyway. Okay, so now I'm going to save file to a pretty precise place. This is so that when I enter Elden, I don't just spawn inside a goddess statue. Pretty much.
Okay, because basically, what Kitcot is about to do is that when he's gonna reverse bit warp into Elden, where he's gonna spawn, he's basically gonna fall off a bit out of bounds, which will eventually lead him to go into the trigger, to go into the cave where you usually obtain the digging mitts. And as such, that is why I consider the bit warp. That's why he needs to have this precise positioning when saving at the statue there, because if he's not properly positioned, he could miss that, and that would be pretty bad.
That'd be pretty bad. I don't actually know what happened because I'm going to mess this up, so let's hope I don't mess this up, because I don't actually know what to do if I do mess it up. It should be okay. I think the position was okay.
Short Plenty is mentioning in chat, the routes for this game have changed quite recently a lot. There have been like routes or so for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, routes in this game are crazy. Also, I was like trying to find the Elden Pillar. It's kind of hidden somewhere, but we found the Elden Pillar. And the reverse bit worked as we spawned inside the basically down here.
Very nice.
Yeah. And so we're going to intentionally take damage here because we have no option. We skipped the sailcloth, which normally is like our parachute, but we skipped it. So yeah. So in the route that collects items, we would normally skip this with like an out of bounds, but we can't. I believe it's because we need story flags or just flags in general. But don't quote me on that. Again, this route is only a couple of days old, so I don't really know much. So first things first, in order to progress, we need the digging mitts, and we can just kill these guys with a Skyward Strike like that. And that should really just show how OP the Skyward Strike is in Hero Mode, which is another reason why we picked it over Normal Mode.
Yes, because normally this version of the Skyward Strike is, if I recall correctly, it's the Skyward Strike you get with the Master Sword in normal mode.
Yeah.
But here you get that Skyward Strike right from the get-go at the beginning of the game. And in the other hand, when you actually get the true Master Sword at the end of the run, that Skyward Strike is instant, so it's the most OP one.
Like the Skyward Strike here is very similar to the true Master Sword Skyward Strike in normal mode. Okay, so now we're just making our way up Elden. Nothing really interesting, except there will be a back in time later at some point. But first, we have the most important trick in the game: circles.
Oh yes, very important.
Very important.
I hope you get it.
Yeah.
I hope you get it, because otherwise this run is...
It's invalid if you don't get it, basically, so we'll see. This is quite a bad setup, but we'll see. Got it, circles.
Nice.
This run is officially valid.
This run is officially valid, yeah. So, okay, you can clearly tell we were joking. Circles is just where you run around in circles. If you, like, roll into that in a precise way. It loses 1 frame, but that frame is definitely worth it.
It loses 1 frame, but gives you a lot of swag points, so...
Yeah, and swag points are the most important thing, clearly. So, I mentioned we were going to do a back in time. That's here. Wait, this is the back in time. This is going to be a reverse bit magic. Have we done reverse bit magic in this route before? I don't think we have. Oh, we did early Farron Pillar, but not really.
Yeah. Once again, those guys are mentioned bit something. Yeah.
We should probably explain what each bit is, like what bit warping and bit magic is. Cause
yeah, so far we have
confusing.
mentioned warp. I guess we've mentioned bit warp as well, bit magic. Now we've got reverse bit magic.
Yeah.
This game is quite confusing when it comes to time.
So so I'm gonna kind of roughly explain it, like very roughly.
That's also why they.
Yeah. So.
From the one and only Copernicus.
Yeah.
He made this on Back in Time. So if anyone is interested in that, I highly recommend that.
Yeah, shout out to Copernicus. This is what the file name's named after, by the way. He's like one of the main glitch hunters of this game. So, what I did there is I pushed the gravestone and I started the file. And what that did is that sets that specific value, or it set that specific scene flag in file 2 as I started the file and immediately did that. And on Skyloft, that scene flag might have been pushing the, or opening the shed. In Earth Temple, it's, no, in Elden, it's opening the Earth Temple. So, very useful, and it skips having to get like keys and stuff. I don't even remember what it was. That was old school getting keys and stuff for the Earth Temple. But yeah. And then we get to Earth. The Earth Temple is a very scary part of item list because, well, first thing, I'll kind of explain what Earth Temple has. Earth Temple, first of all, has a rope they meant to cut with the beetle, but we don't have the beetle, we skipped it. So we have to kind of position this keys in a pretty precise spot. It's not that bad, but it's still pretty precise. And hopefully get a Skyward Strike to get angled in the right way that it hits the rope. Second is bomb the Skuldera. Skuldera is the boss of item list. Oh, no, not item list, it's boss of Earth Temple. And
Boss of item
I mean,
list.
it is the boss of item list because it's the hardest boss in the game, in my opinion.
Technically, he's the boss of item list as well.
Yeah, because in you're meant to. He's basically like King Dodongo, but with like Mike Wazowski in it. So basically, what we do is that you're meant to like throw bombs in the mouth. We don't have the bomb bag, so we have to do something really precise to kind of get around that, and it's pretty difficult. So, we'll see. But that's
Also,
later
this
on.
cutscene here, really interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, those two are talking.
Yeah.
They're talking about 5 pieces of the key
Yeah.
and how they finally realize through the door.
Yeah.
Well, I don't really feel like collecting a key
Yeah. Like collecting keys is like
Feels
it
like
takes too much
collecting a
time.
key.
Like
either.
so I'm just gonna like walk in front of this door and see what happens. Oh look, we're in the Earth Temple. Okay, so here is the key strat, which is pretty precise, and I'm hoping it works. I'll do a safety save, which is very important. So I saved, nice. So it basically involves lowering a key to a very specific point where you can do a Skyward Strike on him that hits the rope. So yeah, this is somewhat consistent most of the time if you get good keys RNG. Sometimes it can be a bit of a pain, but we should be okay. I don't know. Actually, we'll see. I might get this first time, I might not. We'll see.
Yeah, the reason why this is even necessary is because normally you're supposed to use the beetle to break that rope, but since well, this is itemless, we can't really use that. So that's why we need a precise positioning of these keys and the Skyward Strike, so the angle can be correct and it can cut that said rope. So hopefully he will get it.
I got it, yeah.
Oh, you got it?
That's
Nice.
fine, yeah. I did kind of have to move back and forward a bit because that piece was being a little bit uncooperative. I think if you've ran Twilight Princess, which is the earlier installment in the Zelda series, you'll know that like there's Sword and Shield skip. This is pretty similar, but it's much easier, in my opinion, from someone who has been trying Sword and Shield skip. Although I am much worse than Twilight Princess. Anyway, like I haven't even done a run on Twilight Princess. I'm that bad. Anyway, so now we're gonna save at this statue, and we're gonna do another reverse bit magic. This is to skip this whole boulder section and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, because as you can see, like right behind us statue, you can see that lowered bridge, like in the lava. And normally, yeah, you're supposed to go all around the temple to bring that boulder so that you can activate the bridge. But with the help of this particular reverse bit magic, you can just magically raise it,
Yeah,
which
and so
is
we're gonna,
very good.
Yeah. So we're gonna raise it by basically kind of putting on a certain scene flag. We're gonna like set a certain scene flag in file 2. This is quite bad. And that specific scene flag is talking to Pippet, one of the Knight Academy people. And so first we need to get to the Knight Academy. Now, if we select, like, if we enter the title screen, he won't be there at all, so that's why we're kind of doing stuff with, like, the Wii Motion Plus tutorial. Shout out to that. I don't know why that exists, but I'm not complaining.
Yeah, it's very good that this is here because otherwise.
In case you don't know how to properly use the Wii Motion Plus.
Exactly, yeah, it's so complicated. Like, how could you figure it out first try?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
You aren't a true Skyward Sword speedrunner if you haven't accidentally activated the tutorial at some point.
Yep.
Oh boy, yes.
Yep. And yes, I've done that way too many times. It's killed way too many of my runs.
Yeah.
Fun fact, Pikachu once raided me just at that moment, and that was humiliating, I'll be honest. Anyway, so yeah, now the whole point of that was to raise these, because in Skyloft that was talking to Pipit, that value. In Earth Temple it's raising those things. And again, sorry for any internet drops. It is British internet after all, so it doesn't happen normally, but it will happen, I believe, occasionally. But there should be small drops, there shouldn't be anything major. Hopefully. So again, this next part is pretty like self-explanatory. Well, not really self-explanatory. It's casual. It's like a break from all the crazies. So now is the time if your head has been exploded by the crazies, just kind of reconstruct it a bit. You know, like just like this is kind of a break from all the crazy scene flag manipulation and whatever. Alright, so here we're going to do stutter sprinting. Normally you meant to like throw a bomb somewhere, but we just can skip that with stutter sprinting, and I say that while stuttering my words. Nice fun. Anyway, so we're gonna get the boss key. You'll notice how we always have to get the boss key. That's because there are no boss key skips in this game.
Yeah, the worst part about accidentally activating the tutorial is that you can't even exit out of it.
Oh, yeah,
you have to complete the tutorial. You have to completely read through it. Every single text box. You can't home menu out of it. No, you have to read it.
It's quite annoying. So I'm glad I didn't do that here. I might do it later. Hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. Yeah, there is a point where I might do it. Anyway, so I'm gonna safety save here, and this is Scaldera. It's Dodongo, Mike Wazowski, that guy. Normally, what's meant to happen is you'd have the bomb bag by now, and you throw bombs into his mouth and blow his eyes up with your sword. But we don't have the bomb bags. But luckily, conveniently for us, there are bombs placed right at the top, which makes it a little bit tricky and quite likely to soft lock if we're not careful. But hey. So yeah, this is Scaldera. If there's any donations, you can probably read now because there's a bunch of cutscenes coming up. Well, not.
Yes, just about to ask actually. No donations as of yet. We have had a few subscriptions.
Nice.
So I'll read those out. We've got a Shadow Answer, subscribed with the Twitch Prime. Zonorous, who you might have seen about an hour ago doing their run, they subscribed. Sunny NZ and Nubinator, thank you very much for your donations. While on topic of Twitch Prime, if you've still got yours available, you could use it in this channel right now. It'll help support the stream, help support the charity, and keep events like this going throughout the year, especially in these troubling times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll pass it back.
Cool. So I totally took some damage there because you do kind of want to end this fight with 2 hearts optimally, and yeah. Also brake sliding, which is if you hold ESS down after a roll or home menu buffer, you go quite quickly over basically uphill terrain. Anyway, so this is now Scaldera. This is Girahim. We fought him. He's pretty annoyed that we beat him, so he's kind of gonna unleash this spicy Mike Wazowski at us. And again, we don't have a bomb bag, so this is quite difficult. I might have to want silence for this because this is quite challenging. But we'll see.
Plus, especially with 2 hearts, that's always a big dilemma with Skyward Sword because you always want to, most of the time, to be at low hearts, but at the same time, for backing time. But you can also find yourself at risk of dying when you don't want to die,
like
such as in the boss fight.
A lot of this game is like health management and stamina management. Okay, so let's hope I get this right. Come on. These are drifts one way or another. Okay, so here he can run quite fast, so I do have to kind of be a little bit speed and Link. Come on, run quickly. There it is. He cooperated for once.
Yeah, because dealing, like, the hitbox for Scaldera's Eye is, let's just say, very wonky. at times.
Yeah.
So it can be the source of rage for mini runners. Let's just say it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is really weird. I should have been able to do 2 spin attacks, but I unfortunately didn't. But that's fine, because I can just do a Scout Strike here. Hopefully. If I can't do a Scout Strike here, then I have soft blocks, but I should be fine. Yeah, there we go. He's dead. GG. That was a good skull there, except there was a bit of an iffy bit, but I didn't soft block, so that's good. This run is very solid right now, I'll be honest. I might have jinxed it. This might go downhill from here, but it's good so far. I don't think it's rollback from Spacer. I don't know what rollback Spacer would be now, but...
Imagine jinxing the run.
Imagine, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, this is the longest non-input cutscene in this run. I think the longest non-input cutscene in the game is 50 seconds. At least for the old 80%. I'm not quite sure if that's different for 100%, but yeah. If you have anything you want to say, please say it now as well, because this is like quite long.
I'll get a few plugs in. So, Metaphorical Bot, thank you for the Twitch Prime subscription. No donations coming in as of yet. We still have plenty of Bid Wars to donate for. Like I said before, we've got Resident Evil 2 and 3 both have costume choice donations. Godzilla Save the Earth, that's coming up later on, as well tomorrow. You got an option for the outfit of Godzilla,
Now
which should be interesting.
We'll be getting to a very interesting region.
Yeah, sorry for the interruption, but yeah.
It's alright.
Yeah, my point. But anyway, so the whole point of getting to Skyward Temple is so we can get to Lanayru. Lanayru is where the boss rush minigame is, and the whole point of this run is that we can manipulate flags in boss rush. So this run is essentially just a rush to get to the boss rush minigame. And yeah, bad pun. Anyway, so now we're going to save and prompt them back in time with lava. This is going to be the early Lanayru pillar. I don't know why it's early, but just go with it. So this is going to be, we're going to bonk into a tree with file 3, rupee with file 2, enter the goddess statue with file 3 again, and we're going to put the Farron pillar onto file 1. And it's quite confusing. I mean, it's Skyward Sword, it makes sense why it's confusing.
Yeah, this game is a bit confusing.
A bit confusing, haha, nice joke,
Yeah.
Please don't do that again.
What one bit pun per marathon has to be.
Yep, sadly has to be. Okay, so yeah, so mostly this is kind of just running to, again, Back in Time is mostly about like trying to manage like files with movement and stuff, and it can be quite challenging, which is most of the difficulty in this game lies with performing bits quickly and also not making any mistakes so that you would like do something wrong. Because if you fail like a really long bit, say like a Farron bit, you lose a lot of time. Essentially. Okay, so now what's going to happen is we're going to put, we're going to do start file with file 1, and we're going to start the file at a specific point which puts the Lanayru pillar onto our file. Essentially. Okay, so now, if you remember, we bit saved this into Farron Woods a while ago, so we're going to exit. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we should be in the correct layer. If we're not in the correct layer, then this run is over, which would be very unfortunate. But I think we should be in the correct layer. I don't understand why we wouldn't be, because I did all the copying and file stuff. So yeah. Yeah, we're in the correct layer. Good. Okay.
Nice.
But no, this run has gone pretty smoothly, I'll be honest. It's really good so far. I say so far because this might change, because whilst Lanayru isn't hard, it's got hard RBM, such as the harp strumming RBM, which has a little bit of like a funny story to it at some point, which I'll get to later. Well, not itself, but like in a race, a lot of people failed that. I'll get to that later again. But for the most part, it's like, it has some tricky back in times. Well, most back in times are tricky anyway. But no, this one's going well. So yeah, Lanayru. Desert. So... Right, so right now we have 6 hearts. We're going to solve that with bombs, as you do. Okay, so between bombs you do have to wait a little bit because invincibility frames exist, and you will not believe how many times invincibility frames has trolled me.
Oh,
Like, a
I
lot.
can.
Yes,
I
invincibility
think I
frames.
probably. Yeah, how often they trolled you.
Yeah. So anyway, so now we're gonna die. I need to check my notes for which one this is because this is
Because in this game,
yeah. So right now this is going to be the Batro RBM. The Batro RBM is for those of you who haven't played this game, Batro is the character who has like the gratitude crystal side quest. We are going to start that side quest back in time, and doing that will set the correct scene flags for the Temple of Time statue, which means you can just essentially just skip the third dungeon, which is very useful. Yeah, so first we're going to bonk with this tree of file 2. Notice how I'm on the splash screen and file 2 is still okay, nice. Bad stamina. Notice how I was on the splash screen and file 2 is still kind of committed. That's because, like, so this is still file 2. If I were to exit out, if I were to exit out, this is still file 2. But if I were to re-enter the splash, like here it's still file 2. Re-entering it now file 3 because it like newly read it from something. It's confusing, but yeah, just it's confusing. Okay, so now we're going to specifically enter Betro's house with file 2. Otherwise it will crash, because this is the only file currently which has the hero's tunic. Oh yeah, hero's tunic. I forgot to mention we have the hero's tunic.
nice.
Yeah, but anyway.
Yeah, an interesting fact about this is such a seemingly unimportant RBM. RBM is short for reverse bit magic. Is can skip quite a lot of time.
This skips
As
like
it
all
skips,
of like the first visit of
over
Valerio
40
casually.
minutes, I think.
It
30 or
skip-
40 minutes.
Yeah, it skips a lot of time. Most notably, it skips like the it skips having to like go around Linear normally and like find like the nodes and stuff to like open the Linear Mining Facility, and it skips the Linear Mining Facility itself, which is like really it saves a lot of time. And there's a character called Heart Percent. It's mostly dead now because the only reason why you'd run Heart Percent is because any percent was too long, but now it's not very long.
Yeah.
Heart Percent involves getting the Goddess Harp, and basically that that speedrun essentially is tied to doing that RBM as fast as possible, because that enters the Gate of Time. It enters the not Gate of Time, later. Temple of Time has that it enables that statue onto file 1, so you can just fly to it and hey presto, you have a harp. Anyway, so we're going to come back to that later, but first of all we're going to do a bit warp. This is the first bit warp we've done in the game.
Nice.
So yeah, we've been talking about reverse bit warping, which is which you start the file and you enter into like a place, and
Actually, really interesting that this is the first run now, considering how many bit warps you've already done up to this point in
Yeah.
older routes.
yeah, like usually you've done like a lot of bit warps, but now in this route this is the first bit warp. So how it's gonna work, right, is I'm gonna walk up here as you do, and I'm going to start the file and then save, and it's similar to the bit save, but here it only saves partially, so I only save the coordinates. So I landed really far out of bounds, in this case at least, because file 1 was saved on Linear Mines, and I saved the Upper Academy coordinates to the Linear Mines by starting it, and the result is I spawned really out of bounds. You'll notice how the game really likes out of bounds collision. I don't know why.
Oh yeah.
It just does. Which is very useful.
Yeah,
I'm not complaining. It
game,
allows us to do a lot of things, but yeah.
Yeah, this is very lucky, because if it wasn't for that, then accessing the gorge early, I guess, yeah, that wouldn't be as easy.
Yeah, it would be. I don't think it would be possible, really.
Yeah, because normally this region that Kitcot is about to go to, it isn't a region you're normally supposed to access until basically really late game, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like Song of the Heroes quest stuff, which we completely skip in this game, by the way. But like,
The funny thing about this is that we're trying to access early on, that the game doesn't even prevent us from going there. When you go in the case in the mid game, there's like this Goron here that blocks your path, but
as we're like early game, you can just go right past it because the game
Uh,
doesn't expect you to be here this early.
yeah, because the game doesn't expect it.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're
So
in
the-
the Lanayru Gorge. This is where the Thunder
Ah.
Dragon lives, and this is where the boss rush in the game is. But we have to do quite a hefty amount of RBMs for it to work first. The first one I'll be doing is I need to look at my notes here. Is what's known as the Rock RBM. Now, what the Rock RBM does is it basically essentially blows up a rock for us, which normally we need. So basically, what happens is that in order to heal the Thunder Dragon, we need a minecart to be in a specific place. And in order for that minecart to be in a specific place, we need to blow up some we need to blow up some rocks. Normally you do it with bombs, which we don't have, so we have to do an entire RBM around it. And this is like the first kind of really confusing one. They've been confusing up until this point, but now it's like proper confusing. You probably don't understand what's happening at all.
Yeah, the idea just that you have to remember is that this first one that Kitcot's doing right now is just deleting a rock. And if you haven't seen a run, you're probably wondering like, what kind of rock? I don't understand.
Yeah.
You'll see. But in it, because what he'll be doing after this, there'll be another back in time section which will help for doing the minecart escort. And you'll see during the minecart escort, there's a moment where indeed it's supposed to be blocked by a rock and it won't be there anymore. And then there's, as he was saying, a bunch of shenanigans when it comes to then making sure you can trigger the Thunder Dragon in order to actually get to boss rush, including probably one of the most stressful RBMs of the run.
Yeah.
Definitely keep your eyes peeled and ears peeled for this one,
Ears
because
especially,
it's
'cause that's-
exciting.
I'll get to the story about how everyone failed it in the race, or not everyone, like some people failed it in the race later. I'll get to that story later. But for now is this RBM where I'm gonna like start a certain file, add a text box, but this text box is pretty, it's not precise, but it's something that I'd rather want to get. So there you go. Okay, so that happened. That should work. I think. I don't know. The camera's a bit weird, but I'm just gonna assume that worked because I don't know any different. Oh, now.
Hopefully it did.
And one thing we haven't mentioned is you usually have to like change these with like a scene flag, like with a temporary. You have to basically change it with like a flag change. Actually, I'm gonna reset just to make sure that worked. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm like reloading the area by like going out of the file and going back into it. So anyway, back to what I was saying, is that you often need to make an environment change for like bits to stick from reverse bit magic, which is why we like talk to that robot and stuff. That didn't work. The thing didn't work. That was very weird. I'll try it again. Or rip really good. Ah! The rock is blown up now. Like the thing I used to commit this is blown up. I'm now scared because I don't actually know what to do. Because how do I commit that now? I mean, I can commit it with that, but I need that.
Yeah, because there's a second commit point, but you'll need that.
What do I do now? I'm really confused.
After RBM.
No. What do I do?
Is it possible to commit perhaps without robot?
I don't think you can. I'm really scared now because I don't think you can actually commit this.
Okay, because there are other rocks. Perhaps you can blow up. Maybe can you?
No. This. Oh no. Okay.
Monk.
This is definitely more Chris.
Okay, perhaps.
I can commit with temporary flags. Oh wait, so Leper, you're saying I can commit with the with like this over here. I'm talking to Leperlog in the chat. So with that, I'm gonna assume yes because that's a temporary flag. I think. I'm just gonna go with that. I've got nothing better to do. I'm gonna do that RBM again and hope it works. Okay, now I'm nervous. So yeah, one thing I've mentioned this run is that it's very, like, It's nerve-wracking, I'll put that much. Because if you like mess something up, then it's bad. I've never messed that up before though, so that's pretty scary. I'm pretty sure the rock will be blown up though, but we'll see. Because I saved. Anyway, we're just gonna assume everything's fine. I'm kind of sweating right now.
This is fine.
This is cue that this is fine mean. Oh wait, make sure. Okay. Just make sure files are good. Yeah. Now during this chaos, someone could read a donation or whatever.
Yeah, currently still no donations. But we can plug the event a little bit more. You're currently watching UKSG, an event usually held in Glasgow, Scotland, 4 times a year. Right now, holding it online with 3 days of fun-filled marathons, fun-filled speedruns for you to watch, and some quite nerve-wracking moments, as we can see right now.
Like this, yeah.
Doesn't always go well, but that's speedrun. Like I said, just big shout outs to ESA for supporting the marathon and letting us use their channel.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So I'm not 100% sure why that bit even failed. That should have worked. I think my best idea is I wasn't close enough to the statue, but that's just my best guess. I really don't know. Actually, I need to check my notes. Notes, quick notes.
I'm not too familiar with this particular RBM, but you're sure the timing was correct?
Yeah, timing was fine, I think.
Now, which text box is supposed to be? It's.
Oh, that was good. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
good. The camera didn't go weird that time.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm assuming I can just bonk into this and that'll be fine. That's what I'm assuming. Because I think this is a temporary flag. That's what I'm going with, because I do kind of need that for another bit, but hey, what can I do?
As a reminder, all of this is really kind of new because
Yeah.
even just up until a few days ago, we had items in the route, and so we didn't need to do this particular RBM because we could just bomb the rock that now needs to be a bit magicked away.
Yeah.
So that's why it's normal, that it's still a bit unsure sometimes, even after practice. It's absolutely normal. So hopefully everything will be all right.
Yeah. So that did work. I'm hoping that the matchy RBM won't be affected now because of that temporary flag.
We'll see.
Sorry, my throat is dead. Anyway.
Stay hydrated.
Yeah, stay hydrated. Absolutely. I don't have water with me, which is kind of a problem. I'll get water after this run if it survives. Okay, so now this is going to be mostly the same as the previous with the previous RBM, but with like different things. Also, this is the only Kikri we'll see in the run, so make much use of it. We used to see way more Kikris, but now unfortunately we don't because we skipped that part.
Yeah, no more kickwees. It's
Yeah.
bad now.
I agree. Yeah. Okay, so could someone in chat, like Leper, just confirm that this is fine and I'll be able to commit the matchy RBM with the same way I committed the rock RBM? Just someone in chat, please.
This will be fine.
I hope. I'm really like crossing my fingers to love this part. So to commit next to RBM, bonk the pillar next to the stairs. Okay. I am trusting you. I don't know what pillar it is. I'm hoping it's like far one actually. Can I just mention, right? This run was going.
Yeah.
Can I just mention, right? This run was going completely fine until then, so I kind of jinxed it. Nice. Okay, so now we need to copy file 1 to file 2. As the thing on my notes says, I still need notes as well. I've mentioned that a million times. But yeah. So behind the temple with file 1, apparently. Well, I'm trusting this. It says file 1, so file 1 it is.
Once it's behind the temple, he'll have to make sure not to select any files if it's still the same as before.
I think I'm pretty sure it's the same as before.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna assume that, yeah.
Yeah, indeed. And then what he's gonna do once he enters the forest, once again we can also see the use of the Wii Motion Plus tutorial menu here, which is very useful, and luckily no trolling here.
Yep, I did
Then
open the title screen because I just wanted file 3 to be selected. Oh, I did something wrong. Okay, well now we're gonna have a 5-text cutscene at some point because I'm dumb. Ooh, actually no, this could be bad because there's this cutscene and you can like lose all control of Link if this happens. So I'm hoping that we're okay. I'm not quite sure. Okay, well, what file do I select? Actually, I think this is... Okay, well... I jinxed it, god damn it! This run was going fine until then. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, well,
yeah,
lesson learned. Lesson learned, I'll remember for next time.
Yeah, this rope jump is pretty hard to do, like, without activating the menu, because when you're doing that swing with the Wii Motion Plus, like, tutorial menu, it's very easy to accidentally swing your remote on saying yes. So that's a very scary part.
Yeah.
So
the problem is that like I actually know that like well I knew that would happen. It's just I don't even know what happened. Just ignore the last like bit. Right.
Mistakes happen. It's normal.
Yeah. This is now in the... Actually, oh no, that's normal, this is fine. I was about to say, this is in the gorge, but no, I copied file. I copied the file, so it's fine. Okay, this will mean that this is like... I have to physically go over to the loading zone, but this is fine. Oh yeah, I can reattempt. Like, these I can reattempt, which is fine, I guess. I'm just really nervous about committing, because if you have nothing you can commit the bit with, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah, that tends to be most of the problem regarding back in time, because I see that's the conversation in the chat. Like, the problem isn't the back in time itself, because you can't just redo it. The problem is that if you run out of ways to commit, if you accidentally commit without really realizing if you've managed to actually do it, but sometimes we don't really have a choice, and in that case, that's where it gets a bit tricky. Luckily, it's still doable.
I think.
Hopefully, it should be.
according to people in chat, they should be doable still. Like, but that's according to people in chat, and I mean, people in chat, it's Leper and Shout Plenty, so they should know what they're talking about. So yeah.
These are some very smart folks in chat. You can trust them.
Instead of two, it should be those two in here actually commentating, because
okay, so now here I will not select any like I won't select any of the basically just Wii Motion Plus tutorial. So yeah, don't select file setting, I'm good. So yeah, Machi RBM. This is where we left off. Luckily in this route you have the goddess sword, so you can just do this. And bam, they're both dead. Sometimes you have the practice sword and that's really finicky.
Yeah, doing fights in back in time is kind of an awkward thing to do, but here you can just Skyward strike them to death.
Yeah. So people in chat say there's a way to commit this. With a pillar close to the, what was it they said? I don't know.
Next to the stairs.
I'm next to the stairs, I think.
Yes,
What do they
that
mean,
should
like,
be that way.
Guys, help me out.
you can
Okay.
also directly. I think they
Yeah,
said
over
you
there.
can also directly use the stairs.
But I'll just...
What do you mean use directly the stairs? And apparently you can reset the temp flags by like flying and coming back.
Oh, there we go. Okay, no. Okay, I bonked into the stairs and that should have been enough of a change. I think. Yeah, bonking into the stairs. Newsflash, it works.
Oh, that's what
Yeah.
what was meant by the pillar. Okay. I didn't know there was a roof
Yeah, me
there.
neither.
That's interesting.
I was like, I don't see a pillar, so I'll just do that. Okay, I think this is back on track. We should still be behind estimate. At least that's the theory, anyway.
Well, learn your lesson, everyone. Just know all the spots where you can get committing done, because I can
Yeah.
save your run.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah. I just want to remind everyone, right? This route is only 5 days old, so
Yeah.
I
It's
have my
the-
excuses.
Mad respect for Kitcot for actually at a marathon.
Yeah, this is not a very kind route if you mess things up. With items,
think-
there's like more you can do, but yeah.
Yeah, the route with the item is definitely a lot more forgiving, and I think actually at this point in time, it's really just the top runners in the that go for this particular route. Like
Yeah.
most people, I think, still go with items.
Yeah, because like this route only saves like 2 minutes, and if your PB is like a 2:08 or something, like a 2:06 for itemless, which is much harder, isn't really much worth it. But if you're like, but now for world record, it's essentially required that you do this route. So
Okay, so now we're getting to a pretty interesting jump that should be happening soon. I don't know, like with the delay, if you're already at there.
I'm pretty much out there
but-
right now. I'm just doing the setup right now. I do a weird setup. Most people use a map to like get the angle, but I just kind of walk against the wall, and this works for me somehow. Normally the setup would get it in 2 void outs. Sometimes it'll get it in 1, which is not now, is now 2. Sometimes it'll take 3 or more, which kind of sucks. But yeah, this is the reality of this. Okay, good. In 2 void outs, that's nice.
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 So basically, what Kitcot is doing is trying to get back, like at the very end of the minecart escort section, by going through this little out of bounds section. And we're very lucky that this jump is even possible, because otherwise we'd have to go through the entire. I was gonna say Minecraft.
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 Yeah.
Is
Minecraft. Yes.
Fun fact: a lot
Yeah,
of people, including myself, name the split Minecraft because a lot of people on Gymnast stream misread it as Minecraft, which is quite funny. Okay, let's hope that the match RBM works. If it works, there'll be a minecart. If it doesn't, it works. Nice. Okay, so now this is good.
Nice.
Here we have more of the fun break slide.
Yeah.
We
Okay,
had
so
it.
and this is the rock we tried to RBM earlier, so it's good that it's not here now.
Yeah, because otherwise, indeed, that would be the infamous bomb we'd need to use that we now can't use.
But again, I'm
So-
pressing the B button right now and nothing's happening. Normally, again, it's the B wheel because you would have the item of wheels on the B button, but nothing happens when you press the B button. So yeah.
So basically, now we're basically just waiting for the minecart to arrive at its spot. So I think if we've got I think we have time, like maybe for a quick message if we've got any.
Yeah, we do have a couple of donations. Yeah.
We have just got a donation through. We've got a $6 from a Kona171. It says Chateau Dungeon says hi, or Catot. That might be a Zelda reference, I'm not sure. Well, yeah, thank you very much for your donation. That wasn't specified for anything, but yeah, keep them coming through. We've got plenty of donations incentives to go through. You can find them all on the schedule, and yeah, thank you very much for your donation.
Okay, so now I'm going to save and quit, and I'm going to start file 2 because remember there's like this Betrow RBM that we did a while back, and everyone kind of forgot about it because it's a bit hectic. That again opened the Temple of Time section. We're going to go ahead and get the hop right now. We need the hop for the next RBM, which is the harp strumming RBM. Yay.
Oh boy, this.
Because we didn't have enough RBMs yet.
Yeah, just more RBMs. This game is just
More
RBMs. Just a lot of
So, to maybe sum up a little bit for those of you a little bit right now, what is our goal? So, our goal is so that we can start right. That is. So what we need to do for that is we needed to trigger the Minecraft escort.
Minecraft.
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 Minecraft. That's what, yeah.
The Minecraft escort For that to work, however, we needed to RBM the rock away, which was blocking the mine card.
Yeah.
And yeah, now we basically just need to Meanwhile, we're gonna get a harp though.
Yeah.
Because
So here was a cutscene skip which I
Hey.
missed sadly, but it's similar to the Wing Summary cutscene skip with like 2 frames, no visual audio cue. I think the frames are placed differently, but that's kind of just my personal theory on why sometimes that one doesn't work. Anyway, so it only loses 13 seconds, so it's not a huge part of the run. So yeah, so now we're gonna die to some Arc Rocks here, and in Temple of Time, back in time is a little bit different because it only really works for the first 5 frames, so I have to do it pretty quickly, for some reason.
Yeah, it's kind of odd. Like most of the time, it's very lenient, like at the timing to get back in time. But for whatever reason, in here, you've only got a few frames to get it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an awkward time loss if you fail it. But
And sometimes it's like you can't do it at all, like in the cave in Skyloft, you can't do it at all, for some reason. But yeah, so now we have reached it to the harp strumming RBM. Now,
oh boy.
I've been kind of delaying a story about this. So basically, there was a monthly race on last Saturday, I think it was, last week around that, and the top 3 runners, me, Jace, and Gymnast, were all pretty much at the same point in the race, like going into this RBM. So Jace was in the lead, I was second, and Gymnast was third. Jace failed it, then I failed it, then Gymnast failed it, so it was kind of like a mix of like everyone just kind of switching places with each other, like being first, second, or third, and we ended up right back where we started, and everyone just lost a bunch of time, which was quite funny. It was also quite a roller coaster of emotions. It was like, yes, I'm in first, no, I failed it, and then Gymnast failed. It was intense, not gonna lie.
Oh yeah.
that
I think
indeed.
that can definitely tell you how difficult the following RBM can be when you see only the top runners. Like even for the top runners, it's a really scary moment.
Yeah, I mean, this RBM isn't that hard. Okay, well, I will say that I was kind of failing this in practice earlier, but this RBM usually isn't that difficult. But apparently, when it really mattered in a race, I failed it. Yeah.
Well, let's hope that it does.
Yeah. But we'll see. So I'm gonna. So during this cutscene of Bruce, I'm gonna go to the copy menu, which has like no values in it or scene flags, which basically allows us to keep Bruce. Same reason why we didn't enter the title screen menu on for the pivot RBM if you were there for that. And hopefully we won't copy this to file 1, otherwise the run will truly be dead. We didn't. Spoiler alert, nice. So now here
Don't kill the run.
Yeah, don't kill the run, that'd be bad. Not this far. So now we wait, and then text box appears, start the file, and then we get to the RBM after all this text. And thankfully we're on Japanese, so this goes quite quickly. And if you're in English, it goes quite slowly.
Yeah. I music.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, this is a moment I think we should probably go a bit quiet because this will rely on sound. And
This quite
So,
heavily
yeah,
relies on sound, like quite heavily. So, and I need to focus and make sure that my harp strumming is on point, because if it isn't, it's pretty easy to fail this. Okay, here we go.
good luck.
Perfect. And here we go. Okay, that seems fine, but I don't know until we get the file text. I didn't. Nice. Okay, I don't know why that failed.
Ooh.
But apparently it did. I don't know why, because usually you fail it of 1 or 2 things. 1, the strum doesn't count, or 2, the strum is done too fast. I don't know why that failed, but okay.
Yeah, there are multiple factors that can go into this working or not working because, like the kind of cues usually that we look for this particular RBM include, for instance, the change of the pitch, like of the sound. Like the second time it gets higher pitched, and then we can start the file. But you also have to make sure that you remain also fairly consistent in the movement of the strum, because you still need impact to actually start saying, okay, good, like we're doing good movement with the harp. So if you accidentally, for instance, like stop strumming after pressing start, that can also fail it, at least from what I can tell.
Yeah.
And combining like that movement plus managing like the menu, it can be a bit of an awkward movement, and that's where really the main difficulty comes in, because managing both like the motion controls while also managing the menu and listening for the proper cue, it can be a tricky.
It's dumb. It's dumb. I'll be honest. It's I don't really know why, because I've done one similar to that. Sorry, did you mention that if you let go of A, it doesn't work or something? Did you mention that? Because if so, that might be the reason why, potentially.
Oh, did you let go of A?
I might have done. I don't know. I wasn't really focusing on what my hands were doing, but that might be our only explanation.
It probably would. Like, I don't think in my experience I've ever done that, but it would make sense that it would cause it to fail.
I mean, I guess so. Yeah, I didn't let go of it too early. I don't think. I'll keep hold of it. I don't know. But I genuinely don't know why that strum, because the strum seemed like a decent length. It didn't seem. I don't know. This game's weird.
Yeah, just sum it up that way. This game's weird.
So we should still be underestimate. Hopefully, fingers crossed. So yeah.
Yeah. Once.
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say that once you get past this RBM, there still will be a couple RBMs left to do, but it will be really most of the tricky ones. And I was gonna say most of the difficulty is gone, but then I remembered potionless horde or fairyless horde. That's gonna be funny.
Yeah, I'm planning on doing like 4 hearts of horde, just like like I mean. So I'll enter the horde, I'll damage it once, and I'll try and do damage this horde for the first attempt. So yeah, that's going to be quite interesting, because I do kind of want to redeem myself from ESA together, which I failed damage this horde in that one.
Why would you do that?
Because I failed it the first time, and I want to redeem myself. Anyway, now we are at the harp strumming RBM again, and I need quite to do this again. Okay, that should have worked. I'll be very surprised if that didn't work. Why is it not working? I'm so confused. The mic up's here and everything. I don't know why it's not working. I'm very confused. There isn't like any bit that needs to be this set in place, because I don't know. Okay, apparently Pikachu's internet died, which is sad. Flo, are you still there?
Still there.
I don't know why. I honestly have no idea why that didn't fail. I'm really confused. I don't know why that failed. That should have been fine. Maybe I didn't finish the strum. That's. I've got no words. That should have worked. Anyway, so now we sort this out. Hopefully, there should be some donations. Maybe you could read out.
Still not much on the donations. I use this time just to talk about what we've got coming up. So after this, we've got Fruit MacGuffin running Yakuza 6. After that, we've got Silhouette Mirage, a Japanese Saturn game, so that should be interesting. And after that, we've got a little bit of a spooky block, so make sure you all stay tuned for that. Just to remind you all, we are currently raising money for Crisis. They are a charity based around helping homeless people in 12 areas across England, Scotland and Wales, and they're helping homeless people to find and keep a home. So great cause to support, and hopefully you get this RBM sorted soon.
Yeah. Files are hard. Files. Come on. Alright, good. File 2 now entered the thing. So just sorting out my files and stuff. It's annoying. Hopefully this won't crash. It didn't. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like Pikachu's having some Discord issues, which is unfortunate, but yeah. Yeah, I honestly, I don't understand this RDM, it's really weird. Apparently to people in the chat, I'm playing it too slowly. I mean, Dees isn't playing it too early, which I don't know. But, I don't know what I should, I don't know if I should, I don't think I'm doing it too slowly, because if, okay.
I honestly can't help you with that, because First off, I'm. Second off, I don't have sound.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
try and experiment, and hopefully things will work out. I don't know why this is not working. Like, this should work. I'm not quite sure. I don't know.
There's always crystal. Where?
Actually, no, there isn't, because in item list you don't get the slingshot, so that's impossible.
Oh, all right. True.
Now listen to these. Okay, well, listen to. So he says, Deesh says the strum is too early. How is it too early? I'm really confused, because that's like, I don't know. And either way, I don't know. If this works, it'll be a, I don't know, I'm just gonna kind of. But like, each time you fail this, you lose like 4 minutes or something. It's, yeah. Alright, so he says I changed the tempo, so I'll just try and keep the tempo the same, which is probably the hardest part about it. And I hope motion control doesn't mess up. Okay, come on, third time. Please, come on, third time's charm. That's the charm. Maybe. Fingers crossed. Yes, it worked. Okay. Yeah.
Nice.
I think it was that. I think it was that I was playing at a different tempo. I need to relearn that, because that's a big issue with me right now. Anyway, so now here's the Thunder Dragon. I think this is the kind of thing with most Skyward Sword runs, is that like the first half is like nice, controlled. The second half is just chaos. Which is kind of how this works.
Yeah. Fun fact, by the way, you can't see it, but box for the Thunder Dragon's dead corpse is still existent. So yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, this is the whole point of like the 80% run now, is that we need to get to this mini game, the boss rush mini game. The reason why is because we can set not arbitrary story flags, but we can set certain story flags if we do certain things with it. Yeah, explain.
Doing is because the game assumes that we have already defeated Imprisoned 2.
Oh, nice.
It sets.
Oh my god, one more time. There we go.
It sets the area because the refights actually take place on the respective map where it was.
Yeah.
So it sets the layer to the layer of Imp 1. So that
Yeah.
it resets the layer back to where it's supposed to be. So basically post Imp 2. So what this does is it basically gives us the completion for for Ancient Cistern and Fire Sanctuary, just like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you die to the Imprisoned and you have defeated and you've completed 2 dungeons.
Also, Fire just randomly pops up and says there's a trial nearby, and it's like, yeah, that's very useful when I'm fighting the Imprisoned 2. Anyway, so now, yeah, we're just gonna die to this guy with Death by Feet. And stomp. Okay, so this run can definitely still be underestimated by about 5 minutes if I'm quick. The estimate was pretty generous to begin with. But yeah, so hopefully... So now we have died to Imprisoned 2. The game should have set the correct flags. Those being that the Imprisoned 2 has been defeated, which is weird, but... So by dying to him in boss rush, you get the flags that he's been defeated. And so now, in theory, we should be able to open the Gate of Time. And the Gate of Time is like the main kind of quest to this any percent run now, is opening that as like fast as possible. So yeah, so now we've got 2 more RBMs to do. These are pretty straightforward, or easier than the harp strumming ones, so I should be able to get these surely.
Yeah, the upcoming RBMs are not that hard anymore.
Yeah, they're definitely not as hard as the harp strumming one. I'll need to relearn that one, because that one isn't usually that difficult anyway.
While it's still easy to fail them,
but just don't fail them.
they're not hard.
Yeah. But no, I definitely need to relearn that half one. Like, I'm having issues with that right now. So now we're going to save and quit and start file 2 and back it over. We're just going to kill ourselves with the Octorok most of the time now. So yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I am back. I apologize.
Nice.
Speaking, yeah, the imprisons are a huge mess of flags.
Yeah.
Shoutouts who found out that basically doing this whole bunch of nonsense like that, defeating, or well, not defeating, but dying to the imprisoned 1 and imprisoned 2 gives us the stupid story flags.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
so this is the Gate of Time RBM. This is where we RBM the Gate of Time. Now you might be wondering, if you've watched Gymnast's Gate of Time Elusive Glaciers video, which I highly recommend, it's really good, you might be wondering, isn't the Gate of Time a story flag, so you can't RBM? You can RBM it, except you need to be able to actually, but you can only RBM it by doing it and back in time. And that's exactly what we can do. So we're going to open the Gate of Time and back in time, and that's just faster than doing it normally. Because doing it normally has like text boxes and stuff.
text box. Oh no.
Yeah, text boxes they're bad. Yeah. I'll just side note here. I don't know why, but for some reason this game doesn't like what's it called? You know what Twilight Princess has like where there's like no scrolling text, you just instant text boxes. That's what. I don't know why this game doesn't have any instant text boxes.
Yeah, that's quite odd because I'm.
If it did, it wouldn't matter which game version you had, at least for any percent. But sadly, scrolling matters and Japanese, and so many runners have to go out of their way. Many runners have to go out of their way to get a Japanese version, which is kind of sad, but it's fine.
I mean, luckily the gap between English and Japanese, like since there's more and more text being skipped, is getting lower and lower. Especially, I think with this route.
I think back when the run was like five hours, it was about 20 minutes, and now it's about 5 minutes difference. So it's,
wow.
it's been this game in general over the course of like the last 1 or 2 years has had a huge drop in times, and it's pretty cool. Okay, so now this is very similar to the heart-showing one, except we're going to do one crucial different thing, which will allow us to skip the cutscene. So after we're in the sequence, we're going to press A pretty quickly so we can cancel the cutscene. Like that. Then we're going to bit save file 1, because file 1 needs to be here. That was a bit weird. A bit weird, haha, okay.
I will acknowledge it.
So done. Anyway, so yeah, now we're going to run to this with file 1, not file 3, because if it's file 3, we'll end up getting this over and over again. So we raise the gate time LBM and back in time. So now we need to open it, and we start the file and do a scatter strike onto it. And in theory, it should be open. I'm just going to check. Yep, it's open now. Good. So save and manually. You meant to save and quit is technically faster here, but saving and manually resaying is what I naturally did first. So we'll go with that. Now we get to the biggest RBM of them all.
Oh yes.
And it's appropriate that it's the last one.
Is it? Yeah, because this saves the most time out of all of them.
Opportunity to talk a bit about the history of this game.
Yeah.
Basically, up until a little bit more than a year ago, any percent run for this game was still 5 hours long.
Yeah.
And then basically Gymnast 86 reverse bit magic, which allowed us to do this which allows us to basically skip the last third of the game.
Yeah. And the last third of the game is called Song of the Hero. And with this single RBM, we skip all of that. Oh, that was bad. Oh, okay. Yeah, so we skip all of that. And this RBM, so previously, the most RBMs I've saved has been like 40 minutes, and that was from the, that was like the Cho one. This one saves 75 minutes. So an hour and 15 minutes of time is just gone from the 80% route just because of this. Which is a huge time save for this game. Especially considering that when Harp Cancel was found, yeah, remember Harp Cancel? That saved about just over a minute, and people were ecstatic about this.
Yeah.
This saved over an hour, which is huge in comparison.
Yeah, the discovery of RBM basically has split the run in half, meaning the one from about 4 hours to
From like 5 hours to like, I think
9
2.5 hours.
minutes.
It was about 2.5 hours to
Yeah,
2 hours.
2.5, and
Yeah.
then later on.
Oh.
And then, has been found.
Yeah.
We started at something like 145, I think.
Yeah, like 148 was Jace's first time, yeah, for this.
Yeah, now we are almost at sub 125,
Yeah,
which is crazy.
Yeah. The world record currently is 125 by Gymnast, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was achieved yesterday, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
The
It was
world
achieved-
record changes
Yeah.
currently, so
It was SVA got a 126, and then hours later, Gymnast got 125. So
Yeah.
And this run is a 140 something, which is quite bad to be honest. But I mean, this run was pretty good up until the Nehru. I'll be honest, it was like amazing up until then.
It's still sub 2 hours.
RBM.
It is still sub 2 hours, yeah. Okay. So now with that RBM, so basically what we did is that we started for one and we watched the cutscene of like the gates of the Lake Floria gates opening, and that set the specific bit 7x04, and in Farron Woods, 7x04 is that opening. In Hylia's Temple, that is the door to the Horde fight opening, 7x04, and the Horde is like the final, like, it's basically like the start of the final fight of this game. So here we have the Master Sword. Normally you meant to like go back and do this whole Song of the Hero thing and yada yada, but we can just skip that by just doing that one RBM, and now we're at the end of the
Not
game.
even skipping the true Master Sword.
Okay,
Wow.
yeah, that's not. I'd have
Oh,
the
no.
Goddess Sword. I have my like. Thing. Okay, so to keep my promise on damage the sword, I'm going to damage a bit. So now I'm at 4 hearts. I cannot take any unintentional damage right now. I will also be doing blindfolded demise at the end, so stick around for that.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Damageless. 4 hearts.
Yeah, 4 hearts. The
Well-
reason why it's 4 hearts and not 2 is because you take mandatory 2 heart damage off forward skip. And forward skip is something that's coming up later. You'll see in a minute. So I need to be very careful with my health management here. So just backflips and Skyward strikes will work. Sorry. Alright, so that's the first barrier. That barrier can be quite scary, but it should be good. So now in this next barrier is where horse skip is. So we're going to try and run up one of these guys' shields, and hopefully it'll put us over the edge. It's pretty precise, and it saves quite a lot of time. So this is kind of like the big decision of whether a run will live or die. This one's already dead, but if I can get it, it'll be much easier. I got it, nice.
Nice.
So now I'm at 2 hearts. If anything touches me, I'm dead.
And if he dies, that will basically mean he'll have to restart the entire horde, which is
Yeah.
definitely quite annoying to do.
It's not what you
However,
want.
once he reaches gear with him, he won't have to redo the horde. So at least it should be safer from there.
Yeah, I mean, dying is still a penalty anyway in the ending, but it's not as great
Yeah.
a penalty. So here are the
Well,
aimbot
especially-
archers.
Especially if you die in the horde fight, it also costs a lot of time.
This is kind of where I got it. So this is where I got to 8. So, okay, I'm past where I got to 8 ESA together with the aimbot archers killing me. So I just need to make it past this bit and I'm good. Also, shout out to the
Please.
glowing, or not glowing, shout out to like the shadowy black mist in the center of the thing. The reason why that's there is because we never actually we never actually drove the spike into the ground. So yeah. So because we like completely skipped that with doing the Skyview RBM. So yay! Alright, so that's Horde.
I think it's smart actually because a bit of lag a bit later on to have this shadowy thing actually.
Which means you get to see you Richard Bratton. Okay, so
Nice.
Gear 3.
Oh yeah.
This so the first phase of Gear 3 is pretty awful. You just knock him down. The reason why this is awful because calibration is bad. Normally, if you keep making a very repetitive motion, the calibration will get lost really quickly. So, as a speedrunner, you're kind of trying to constantly fight losing calibration. And as you can see, it's not ending amazingly for me right now. Yeah. But yeah, so this is luckily not a huge phase, like this is the last one. Okay, so now he should be dead. Also, it's faster to go down to this layer as well, because it is. Okay, so that's the awful part of that done.
The awful part.
Yeah, I hate that part of the fight and passion. Now for the rest of it, it's pretty
now
easy.
comes the not quite so awful.
Also, you can see there's lag there. That's just came up blindfold, so that's what blindfold demise.
Okay, cue us when it is their moment because we've got some delay.
Okay, this is a lot of lag as well. And Floher, go with you wretched brat. Go there.
Now?
Yeah, now.
You wretched rat.
Nice. Yeah. Okay, so. And again, that is the direct translation. Pretty cool. Alright, so now I need to put my blindfold on, and this is going to be blindfold demise. I got this first time at ESA. Together.
Also, a time is coming up.
But I do just want to do it again because it is pretty cool in my opinion. I like this fight.
So once we're closing in on our final boss fight, so get ready on time.
This is sadly going to be overestimate by, but not by much, by like about 11 seconds if this is good, probably longer. So slightly overestimate, but this game is unpredictable. It's annoying.
You still did well.
Yeah, for this.
Especially for a new route.
Yeah, there was a kind of panic bit in the middle, but anyway, now we are demise, hoping my headset won't die. Let's go.
Okay, good luck.
Good luck.
I'm good first phase. Unlike ESA together, I didn't run out of stamina, which is good. The second phase is usually easier than the first phase, so I shouldn't prepare this surely. Although with the blindfold, this first bit is pretty annoying. Good. Time. There we go. Yay.
GG.
Right,
The best thing about this new route
Beautiful.
is seeing Link in his Skyloft outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get the hero's tunic, but not briefly. Yeah, so on my timer it's 1:45:12. The thing might say something different. It doesn't look like it. But yeah, this wasn't a great run. It was really good until the neighbor. Then the neighbor kind of just fell apart because all the RBMs were difficult. I need to go practice that. But enough about me. UKSG, thanks for having Skyward Sword on this. And shouts to everyone in the Skyward Sword community. I'm done. I want to go to bed. Guys, you want to say anything?
Kitcot for marathon. I can only agree with Chad. And, yeah, thank you everyone for watching Skyward Sword. Yeah. In case you couldn't hear enough of me, I will be running Fire Emblem Three Houses tomorrow.
Yeah. So check
Okay,
that out.
definitely have to check that out.
Yeah, I think it's 1 p.m.
Yeah.
UTC tomorrow. And yeah, I'll hand over to the people who